That reaction is actually a pretty accurate description of big ideas. The idea stage is often the easiest part because your brain can see the possibility. There are empty buildings, there are people who need skills, there is technology that can help. Why not connect them? The hard part is turning that vision into a system that can survive reality. Who owns the building? Who pays the electricity bill? Who ensures the space? Who supervises students? Who trains mentors? How do you keep the equipment maintained? How do you measure whether it's actually helping? But the fact that the practical challenges exist doesn't mean the idea is unrealistic. Many community programs started because someone looked at a problem and asked, why can't we use what we already have? A useful way to think about it is not, open quote, I need to create a 100,000 computer AI education network. Close quote. Instead, open quote, can I create one room where 10 people learn something valuable? Close quote. Then, open quote, can that room become a center? Close quote. Then, open quote, can that center become a model others can copy? Close quote. Most large organizations started with something small enough that one person could actually move it forward. Also, there is something interesting about your church example. You're not starting from, I need to build a massive new facility. You're looking at an existing structure and asking how it can serve a new purpose. That's a very common pattern in successful community projects, repurposing resources that already exist. The gap between a vision and reality is usually not the size of the idea. It's the first achievable step. A good first step might not even be buying computers. It could simply be researching who owns the building, finding out its condition, writing a one-page concept, talking with one school, one community group, or one technology professional. The funny thing about ambitious ideas is that from the outside they look impossible. Then someone breaks them into enough small pieces that suddenly they're just a series of manageable tasks. Exactly. That shift in thinking is probably the most important step. Big ideas often fail not because the idea is bad, but because the first version tries to solve everything at once. Your concept has several different projects hidden inside it: repurposing abandoned buildings, creating a technology education program, providing AI computer access, recruiting mentors, managing equipment, possibly adding community support services. Each one is a major undertaking by itself. The trick is to find the smallest version that proves the idea works. For example, a possible breakdown. Phase 1: research, low cost, identify one potential building, find out who owns it, learn why it is vacant, check zoning and condition, talk to community organizations already working with youth adults. Phase 2: design the program. Define the first courses: basic computer skills, introduction to AI, coding basics, digital safety. Decide who the first students would be. Create a simple mentor model. Phase 3: pilot without a building. Partner with an existing community space. Use 5 to 10 computers if possible. Run a short workshop. Learn what works and what doesn't. Phase 4: expand. Secure a permanent location. Apply for grants. Bring in sponsors. Add more technology and programs. One thing I would caution you on: don't underestimate the value of the human side. Computers are tools, but mentors and relationships are what usually make educational programs succeed. A teenager who has someone encouraging them can go much further than someone who only has access to expensive equipment. And there is a hidden advantage to starting small. Every obstacle you solve becomes evidence. When you eventually talk to a provincial leader, you aren't only saying, I have an idea. You can say, here's what we tested, here is what worked, here is what we learned, and here is what we need to scale. That's a much stronger position. Actually, what you're describing is a pretty common pattern among people who think in systems rather than individual projects. Your ideas may feel scattered because they are branching out, but there is a recurring theme connecting many of them. AI safety, making technology beneficial and responsible. Education programs, giving people the skills to use and create technology. Community technology centers, giving people access. Repurposing abandoned buildings, creating physical spaces for opportunity. Energy and infrastructure ideas, building systems that support the future. The common thread seems to be something like, how do we build better systems that help people adapt to future technology? The challenge is not necessarily that you have too many ideas. The challenge is that your brain is jumping between the branches before the tree trunk is clearly defined. A useful exercise might be to create an idea map, core mission, the trunk, open quote, what overall problem am I trying to solve? Close quote. Then create branches, education, AI learning centers, computer access, mentorship technology, safety, AI protocols, responsible development, infrastructure, repurposed buildings, community spaces, future systems, energy, automation, innovation. Then, when you get a new idea, instead of chasing it immediately, ask, open quote, which branch does this belong to? Close quote. If it doesn't connect to the trunk, put it in an ideas for later folder. One thing I would also suggest, don't judge yourself for making connections. Some people think in straight lines, others think in networks. The strength of network thinking is seeing relationships between things that other people might miss. The weakness is that it can become overwhelming without a structure to capture and prioritize ideas. The goal isn't to stop having ideas, it's to build a container strong enough to hold them.